Hey, just real quick. Word of advice. If you're going to be Ghostface, and I've said this many times, but if you're going to be Ghostface, never take the mask off. Hey guys, this is StudMuffin Supreme here, and today we're going to be talking about Scream 7. And yes, we're going to be spoiling this movie because this is, I guess, a review of it. I'm not known for doing reviews, so let's just see how this goes because, I'm reviewing parts of the movie, so I guess you call it a review, right? Now, I do plan on having my brother and our friend Lindy at some point on the And Now It's Your podcast to go more in detail and give their thoughts about the movie. But it's just me tonight, and I'm just going to give you my thoughts of the movie. It's been a week, exactly 1 week since I've seen it. Saw it last Tuesday, and let's talk about it. So, to preface this, I think I should give you my background as far as Scream. I remember watching it a little bit when I was younger. Of course, I was scared because I was a scaredy cat, so horror movies got me, and that did. I was too young to understand the satirical parts of that. That movie has a lot of horror satire that I recognize now as I'm an adult, but back when I was a kid, I didn't. And I remember watching Scream 2 as a kid as well, but then I got older and watched the rest of them. Scream 1 and 2, Scream 1 is probably my favorite. Scream 2 was, it was okay. Not my favorite. Scream 3, I don't like. I don't like Scream 3. I know some people do. I don't. Scream 4 was a pleasant surprise. That might be my second favorite behind the original. I thought it was great. Plus, Jill, I believe that's the main character, who ends up being the Ghostface. I believe she's like the closest one to get away scotch-free as Ghostface. But ultimately, she screws it up. So then Scream 5 was okay. Scream 5 wasn't bad. Scream 6, geez. That was the first time that I really realized that if you were Ghostface, you were dumb if you took the mask off. It really opened my mind and painted a picture because in that movie, you had a father and his two kids getting revenge for his fallen son from the fifth movie. And then they're all doing great, and then they all take the masks off, and then they suck. I thought that was the lowest point, but oh boy, they look like super geniuses compared to what we got coming up here. So Scream 7 is actually interesting because Neve Campbell comes back full time as Sidney Prescott or Sidney. I forgot her new maiden name. I forgive me, but she has a daughter, Tatum, who is named after Rose McGowan's character from the first one, Sydney's best friend. And she has two other younger kids, but they're off with their grandparents, so they're not really a factor into this movie. And she's in a new town in Indiana with her husband, who I can't confirm it was the Patrick Dempsey character, but it's played by Joel McHale now. I don't know. Someone tell me in the comments. And they're living their life. She wasn't in Scream 6, so she wasn't involved in the New York stuff. But she gets a call from Ghostface, which I'm sure she's used to. People want to mess with her. And I have to say, going into this movie, there was always the rumors and the talks about, Matt Lillard coming back. Are they going to go with the Cult of Stu storyline that was supposed to be in Scream 3? Is he really going to be the Ghostface? Are they going to be bringing him back? And it was just such a huge rumor mill. And I honestly was like, okay, they played his voice in the trailer, but there was also the big rumor that the Ghostface was going to use AI and then use it to recreate voices of past characters that have been unalived and then past faces. So, because they said David Arquette was going to be in this movie, the guy who played Roman from the third movie. So I'm like, they're definitely doing either flashbacks or they're going to be using AI to recreate these characters. And spoiler alert, that's kind of what happens. But I was not expecting Matt Lillard to pop up on screen that early. Guns blazing, he's in this movie really early. Actually, Sydney and her family get attacked by Ghostface really early on in this movie. And I was like, okay, all right, we're kind of moving at a breakneck speed here. And then the ghost face gets run over and it's some random yahoo. So it's like, whoa, okay. And then she gets like a phone call from Ghostface. Then it's a video call and it shows Stu Mocker, Matt Lillard. And like, holy crap, like they're doing this already. He's like, I'm back. But then like other characters are like speaking to us vicariously through like the creators of the movie. Cause they're all like, well, Stu can't be alive. If you think he's alive, you're crazy. It's almost like they were taunting all the people that were hoping for Stu to come back. And while I was watching this, I'm like, what if they're doing this to subvert our expectations? Like they want us to think that obviously it's a red herring and it's AI, but then Stu actually shows up. You know, I was thinking, well, that could possibly be. I also like to mention, I know I jumped ahead, but the opening of the cold open in the Mocker house was cool. It was really creepy with the animatronic ghost face, where I figured they were going to play into that, and that whoever the ghost face was going to do that. And like the creepy suspense of Ghostface hiding in the shadows, I thought was really cool. Burning down the Mocker house. In hindsight, absolutely has nothing to do with the movie. It really ties to nothing. But still a kind of a cool opening if you just kind of isolate it. Anywho, they're really playing on the fact that, oh, this is going to be AI. I mean, Tatum's boyfriend, who has been pegged as a suspect, obviously as a red herring. There's a neighbor who's into true crime, so he's pegged. The usual. They got to give out the suspects, right? They even have a part where Tatum sees his laptop in his van. For some reason, he has his movie editing software up in his computer, and it's showing he's doing it like deep fake with Matt Lillard, Stu's character. So it's kind of like, it's obviously him. But then like, there's different ones. Like Matt looks good. Like the cops are like, oh, they're analyzing. Like, oh, this doesn't look like AI. I mean, it doesn't look like it's deep fake. The shadows line up. It's a real person. So it even creates more doubt. Then at a certain point, Sydney and Gail, who comes back with Randy's niece and nephew from the sixth movie. Sorry, I don't know. It's the one girl and then the guy who kept getting stabbed millions of times and never died. But Dewey gets stabbed one time and gutted up and he's dead. But that's an argument for another day. But anyway, they go to this insane asylum where they track down the first ghost face that they run over, and they find out that he was friends with these other people, and then it's revealed that a John Doe was brought in right after the Woodsboro slashings in the first one, who fit the description of Stu Mocker, but he apparently had amnesia, didn't know who he was, and then they ended up releasing him. So it's like, holy crap, they're really doing this. Like, holy crap, they're being obvious with. I thought that they were being clever. I thought that the directors and the producers of this movie knew people coming in were going to think that it wasn't going to be Matt Lillard, but then they're just like, you know what? It is Matt Lillard. Just Stu Mocker's back. I mean, just here you go. No suspense. And I'm like, holy crap, this is what we're doing, right? And then the kills go on. Like they get all the kids in the bar. This bar, and Ghostface takes him out. A pretty creative kill. He puts a guy up on the true crime kid. He puts him up on a beer tap and impales him, and then the beer comes out of the mouth. That was pretty cool. Sydney is trying to. There's a point where Tatum is being hunted down by the Ghostface, and Sydney's watching her through the security cam of her coffee shop that she runs. And that's a cool scene, kind of a tense scene where she's kind of like trying to guide her. But then all of a sudden, here comes another Ghostface. I'm like, okay, multiple Ghostface. All right, we've seen it before, right? And then boom, they kidnap Tatum, and then Sydney goes back to the house where she lives. And then we get to the reveal. Now, let me tell you this. As kind of stupid as some parts of this movie is, I thoroughly enjoyed most of this movie. Like the Ghostface kills were cool. I had a good time with this. A lot of people didn't like this. They thought some of the writing was stupid. Okay, I understand it. But for me, I'm easily impressed. I thought for what it was so far, this movie was pretty good until we got to the ending or the reveal. Okay. So it's revealed first off, the janitor guy who was running the insane asylum, the one that, well, he wasn't running, he was working there, that told him that they had a John Doe who was supposedly Stu. Turns out he was a crazy guy who was into, I guess, the killings. I guess he just was some J-Brone who worked there, and he goes, "Hey, Stu, come on out." And we're like, "Oh shit. All right, we're going to do Stu." But here's the thing, with all the different deep fakes, with all the different calls that we've gotten with Stu, he was never shown in person. It was over a phone call. So it was always still playing with the expectation of, is he, and like, I wasn't fully going to believe it until I saw a physical body, and I'm like, here we go. But then he goes, "Come on out, Stu." And then here comes the second or the third ghost face technically. And I'm like, if this was Stu, why would he need to keep the mask on? Wouldn't he take it off? And then they take the mask off and it's like some chick, and you're like, what? And then you remember it's the mother of the creepy true crime neighbor who got beer tapped. And you're like, okay, I remember going, all right, I didn't see this coming. Even though I tell a lie, when there was like an earlier part where her and the son were talking to Sydney and stuff, and I sat there and I joked, I'm like, she's gonna be one of the killers. Like, watch her be one of the killers. And holy shit! And once I realized who she was, because like I said, I didn't like, who the hell is, oh shit! I'm like, wow, I called it. All right. I had said in previous TikToks that I would have liked to seen either a ghost face never be revealed and then kind of just been a cliffhanger, or that like there was no like family connection, there was no ties to Sydney, there was just a random person with no ties to any of the established characters, or maybe a person with no motivation, because that'd be scarier, a ghost face just doing it just to do it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of what I wanted. And then she goes, "Well, I was your friend, and then like blah blah blah. I wanted to, recreate the trauma, and I wanted to give it to your daughter." And it was like, oh my gosh, this is stupid. And of course, throughout this whole movie, despite the first guy that got run over, crazy neighbor lady, and guy that worked at psych ward, they were doing banger jobs as Ghostface. They take the mask off, and I'm like, okay, they're going to eventually start sucking. World record broken, people, because Sydney literally takes the gun and shoots a janitor guy or a psychic ward guy in the head. He's gone like 5 seconds. Okay, gone. All right, dumb. And then her and Tatum go into the house or the garage, and then crazy neighbor lady does a stupid monologue, and then not too much longer later, she gets shot, but then she starts going, like out of nowhere, like a dumbass, and then Tatum and Sydney just blast her to hell, and she's dead, and then Sydney goes something like, "Don't fuck with me," or something. I don't remember. She said something stupid, and then I'm like, okay, so they broke the record. Like, when I say that Ghostface doesn't need to take the mask off, now this is the new standard. I thought 6 was stupid. I thought that when the guy and his 2 kids took the mask off, I thought, well, at least they had like, what, 10 minutes and stood a freaking chance and almost killed. It's like, no, this is pathetic. This was absolutely stupid. And it was just the most embarrassing thing ever. And of course, it ends on a happy note. They all like Sydney's husband doesn't, and because he gets attacked by Ghostface earlier, but he lives. And then freaking, oh man, Randy's niece and nephew from the previous 2 films. I'm drawing a blank with their names right now. Mindy and oh God, what's the other guy? The one that got stabbed a kajillion times. He doesn't get stabbed once, I don't think, in this movie. If he did, I don't really remember it. But I was actually hoping that he'd get stabbed like 50 times and then decapitated and still live. But no, he didn't give us that. So the movie ends. And I remember me and my friend Lindy, we went and saw it, and we were just talking about it on the way home, and we'll talk about it more when she comes on here. But like, what the hell? Like, what I think would have been super cool is if they ended it with like a cool cliffhanger. Like earlier in the movie, they had like the cops analyzing the footage of Stu to see if it was deep faked. And the thing is, I don't remember them ever addressing that. The cops or detectives never came by and said, all right, we got the results back. This is deep faked. Wouldn't that have been a hell of a twist at the end if like everybody thinks it's over and Cindy and her family are off, and like you see a scene where the cops show up or they call someone, they're like, hey, we got the results back. This wasn't deep fake. This was a legit video. And you find out that Stu was really there the whole time, and that maybe, just maybe, even though crazy neighbor lady, she never met Stu in the psych ward, the psych ward guy, he somehow still knew Stu, and that was sort of legit, and he just didn't tell her, and this was all like a big master plan. But no, we didn't get that. Supposedly, that was sort of going to be the ending of the original ending. Stu was going to be revealed to be the mastermind, but apparently test audience thought it was stupid. What test audience were you watching? I don't know. I find that a little weird to believe, but hey, it's possible. But that would have been a way better ending than what we got here. But yeah, I'll say, like I said, overall, I really enjoyed this movie until we got to that reveal, and then it just kind of sucked the air right out of it. And I thought it was that whole sequence was pretty lame, pretty stupid. And, but it's not the worst. Is it the worst Scream film? Some people will say it is. I'm not a film expert, so I can't compare. It's definitely in the bottom of the barrel with Scream 3 and Scream 6, in my opinion. All the other ones are better, way better. So that was my opinion, guys. StudMuffin reviews Scream 7. If you want to see more of this, please like and subscribe. I'll try to do more videos because I think this is fun to kind of riff. Stay tuned. I'm going to try to get that in the works where I go into even more full discussion, a full movie discussion with my brother Kyle and our friend Lindy, because they've got a lot to say, and I'm sure I might have, in my ramblings, I forgot a few key points that they could probably fill in the gaps. So thanks for watching this, guys. Like and subscribe, and yeah, later. StudMuffin out. And remember, like I said, if you're going to be ghost-faced, keep the mask on, you sons of bitches.